I'm not feeling well with the throat, but I will try my maximum best. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, it will come, right? So, last object oriented programming, right? Oh, so in object oriented programming, I told you about few concepts. Is it okay? Audible? Okay. So in the object oriented programming, we discussed about uh, three types of programming systems. What are those? POPS, OBPS, another one, OOPS. These three, right? Now we will see one by one all the features of OOPS. How do we work with them? Okay, right. Actually, in object oriented programming, first you need to understand about in OOP concepts. We will start with how do we work with contracts. First, we will see about contracts. Okay. So, what is a contract and how contracts work, right? We will see that. Actually, in object oriented programming, contract is nothing but, so I will tell you one example. Suppose we have a database. For example, we are having any database software, some Oracle, MySQL or something, right? Except so we have database softwares like Oracle, MySQL, like this. Now suppose you have to prepare a database, and to prepare a database, actually according to the business requirements, we have to design. That means we have client requirements. According to the client requirements, we need to design database. According to the requirements, we need to prepare database. So your work in company is designing database. What is the reference given to you for designing database? That means you have to prepare database. What is the reference given to you? By seeing that reference, you have to prepare the database. Can you tell what is the reference given to you? What is the reference for preparing database? Which reference is given to you? By seeing that reference, you have to prepare database. Any idea? Question understood? Huh? That means you have to prepare a database for client requirements. So to prepare a database for any project, what is the reference given to us? For can you prepare database according to your idea? No, you have to follow some. What is that called as? Any idea? Actually, to prepare database for any project, we follow entity model. You heard about ER diagram. Now you got idea. That means To prepare any database, we cannot prepare by ourselves. We cannot prepare with our own ideas. We have to follow as per rules, certain standards. And what is the reference given to us? ER diagram. By seeing this ER diagram, we have to prepare database. I will tell you more clearly. Actually, for any project, in order to prepare database, what we do is first step, we follow database models. Database models means in this first thing is database model. We have a conceptual model. We have physical model. We have logical model, and we have entity model. We have four models: conceptual, physical, logical, and entity model. So what is conceptual model means? I will show you how they look like. Means how these models look like. You see here some models I'm showing you here. Yeah. Actually, a conceptual model looks like this. A conceptual model looks like this. Conceptual model means first we prepare the list of modules that need data. For example, in a project, 10 modules are there. Every module doesn't require data. Only few modules need data. First, we will prepare the list of modules that need data. That model is called as what? We call that model as what? Conceptual. Conceptual model contains information about the modules that need data. After conceptual model is finished, then we prepare physical model. In physical model, we mention about, here we mention about what should be table name, what should be the field name, what should be the data type of field. Everything we will decide in this model. This is called as what? Physical. Conceptual model contains information about modules. Physical model contains information about table name, field name, data types and all. After that, we will prepare logical model. In logical model, we will identify relation between tables. Is there any relation required between tables? We will decide. We will design relationships, primary key, foreign key relations we will create. After that, finally, we will prepare entity model, ER diagram. In this diagram, we will mention table name, field name, data type, relationships, everything. This is given to a developer, and developer will prepare a database according to this diagram. So what is this ER diagram? ER diagram is a contract for designing database. Understood? So ER diagram is a contract. What does a contract means? Contract means it contains rules. You have to follow the rules. As per the rules, you have to design. In software programming, you cannot design anything by yourself. Everything you have to follow according to rules. You are designing a component, you have to follow rules. According to those rules only, you have to design the component. So what is a contract? Contract defines rules for designing any component. So in a project, in order to design any component, we have to follow certain rules. According to those rules only, we have to design the component. So everything in a project is according to rules. You cannot have any imagination values. Like you cannot put your own color. Color also we have to keep as per the rule, as per the requirement. So what is a contract? Contract will define rules for designing component. In object-oriented programming, everything is designed according to contracts. According to contracts. For example, see now. I will show you one simple concept here. Suppose we are taking our project, and in this project, yeah. So in this project, what we are doing is we are creating a simple LED product. And in this product, we are defining details like name. And in the name, we have to store some string. And we have price. We have to store some number. But as I told you already, suppose if I store a string in price, it is okay, it will take. But like this, contradictory values cannot be stored, as we need to set some rules for designing a product. That means you cannot design by yourself. You have to follow certain rules. So how to design rules for this object? Generally in OOP languages, contracts are designed by using interface. You learned any object-oriented programming, OOP languages? If anybody asked you, what is the purpose of interface? You have interfaces. What is the purpose of interface? So in reality, interfaces are used to design contracts. Understood? That means at high level, the answer is interfaces are used to design contracts. A contract is designed by using interface. That means what interface contains? So interface contains the rules for designing a component. That means if anybody asked you in interviews, what is the purpose of interface in object-oriented programming? So at professional level, answer is interface is used for designing contracts. It is used for designing contracts. We don't call interface at high level. We don't use the word interface. At high level in software development architecture, when we talk with developers, we will say contracts. Contracts means developer can understand that he is talking about what? Interface. That means now see here how. Generally, now I want to set some rules for this. To set rules for this, what we are doing here, I am creating an interface. Interface and interface name. I will give any name. Interface name I am giving iProduct. That is interface name. Now in this interface, we have to set rules. Rules means you have to tell what you want to allow. I want to allow name. What should be its type? Its type should be string. I want to allow price. Its type should be number. And I want to allow stock. And stock is a boolean. So as per client requirements, every product needs name, price, and stock. And name is string type, price is number type, and stock is boolean. So every product must be designed as per this contract, according to this contract. And remember here, we design like this interface and any name, and here we have to define rules. Here we need to design the rules. What is the key point you need to know is interface must contain only rules, not any implementation. Interface must contain only rules, not any implementation. That means, for example, in interface, we given a name here. Suppose I'm giving any property and colon, I'm defining type, what type, and equal to, I'm applying any value. So this is invalid. That is invalid. Why? Because in interface, you can have only declaration. You cannot have any implementation. No implementation. It can contain only rules. So no implementation. Right? So that means you have to just mention about the properties. Only property. No values. They are not allowed. That means now see here what we done. We created an interface, and in this interface, suppose I am trying to initialize some value, some TV. It is not allowed. It is not allowed. An interface property cannot have an initializer. It cannot have initializer. Okay. Suppose here I am accessing name equal to TV. That is also not valid. Why it is not valid? Property or signature expected. That means only property and its a signature. Signature means what is its name and what is its type. Implementation of values cannot be done. Okay, now you created a contract. This contract must be used by this product. So simply after the product colon, we have to use the contract name. What is the contract name? iProduct. Automatically now it starts verifying and see immediately it shows price have a problem. What is the problem? As per the contract, price is what type? Number type. So you cannot store a string. So we have to put here like this. Now still it is not satisfied. It is showing one more error. See, it says that as per the contract, what is there? Stock is required and it is missing. So it's compulsory to mention that stock. Stock is equal to what? True. If you remembered yesterday, we done that object type. We learned in the block, we written all the rules. But in reality, we maintain all rules in a separate contract that is called as interface. Understood? Last session, what we done when we learnt about object type, object related rules, we mentioned there only. Remember, na? Right? That means what we done when we designed an object earlier. When we designed an object, how we designed that object. So when we designed the object called LET product, here rules we mentioned here only. That means we mentioned that name must be string, price must be number, but in reality, this is okay. But in reality, all rules we maintain at one place, and that is called as contract. And we implement that contract. So in object-oriented programming, the purpose of an interface is to design contracts. So we created a contract. After creating the contract, we implemented. Remember, what does a contract means? Exactly what is mentioned, only that you have to do. You cannot miss anything. You cannot add anything extra. In contract, what they mentioned, only that you have to do. For example, extra, I am adding quantity. In that I am storing some number. Immediately it says, according to the contract, there is no quantity. That means it says that quantity doesn't exist. So according to the contract, what is mentioned, only that you have to define. This is called interface. So what is the purpose of interfaces? To design contracts, right? So example like this, we have interface, and in interface, we have I product. In this, we are defining some name, and name is string type, price is number type, and quantity is stock is a boolean. Now this contract we have to implement. LET product colon I product, and here according to that we have to apply. So name, it will be some name, and we have price, and that will be number, and we have stock, and that will be boolean. Boolean is true or false. That is how we design. So previously, instead of maintaining a contract, directly we mentioned rules. But if you write like that rules, they are not reusable. Na? Rules are not reusable. Now rules are reusable. Why? You maintained in a separate interface, you can implement this interface anywhere. What is difference between previous and now? Previously also we maintained rules, but they are not reusable. We are directly applying the rules. But now we are maintaining rules in a reusable interface, so that we can access this interface and apply to any component, so that that component starts using. So this is the concept. So this is just to understand how to design an interface. Now here, actually, when you are creating interface, contract can have optional rules. Contract can have optional rules. This we know already. Every rule in a contract is compulsory. But if you want to ignore anything, then you can have optional rules. How to define optional rules? Optional rules are defined by using null reference character. Am I right? Null reference, that is null reference character. What is null reference character? Null reference character is a question mark. By using null reference character, actually every rule in a contract is mandatory. It is compulsory to implement every rule. If you want any rule to be optional, then you can put a question mark. For example, now see here. In this now, I am giving here some rating. Rating is a number type. I am defining number. Now immediately your component goes wrong. It says rating is missing. But rating is optional. Then what you do? We can put a question mark. Then it is okay. You can implement. Now, one question is there. Rules are mandatory to implement, right? Rules are mandatory to implement. Then why you are making optional? Question understood? Rules are mandatory to implement. Then why you are writing rule and you say that you can ignore? This rule is okay, you can ignore. What is the necessity of writing a rule and ignoring it? Right? Actually, to understand this concept, I have to tell you one point again. See, why to write rule and why to make it ignore? The concept is, suppose I will tell you, generally, when you are designing any project, when you are creating any project, we have objective and we have goal. Every project have an objective and goal. Every project that we design will have objective and goal. Can you tell what is difference between objective and goal? What is objective? What is goal? Every project have an objective and every project can have a goal. What is difference between an objective and goal? Any idea? Objective goal difference is actually an objective means every objective, it is generally every objective is mandatory to implement, mandatory to fulfill. Every objective is mandatory to fulfill. Goal may or may not. Goal may or may not. For example, may or may not means if fulfilled, it is good. If not fulfilled also, it's okay. No problem. So for example, I will tell you one simple project here. We are developing a project for some ticket booking. Suppose you see some red bus. In this project, there are some modules here. We have bus availability. Second, ticket reservation. And we have live tracking. Three options are there. Can you tell me in these three options, which one is not mandatory? Even you ignore it, it doesn't matter. Which one is not mandatory? Live tracking. Bus availability must work. Otherwise, there is no use of this website. Ticket reservation must work. So these two are objectives. Understood? Those two are objectives. Live tracking is a goal. And if you achieve that live tracking goal, it's very good. If not working also, it's okay. We have alternative methods. We will put that facility, but it is not mandatory to achieve. That means if anybody asked you why you kept a rule and why you make it optional. So why we need optional rules? Why we need optional rules? I hope you can answer now. Optional rules are required to design. What to design? To design goals. Understood? To design goals. That means if it have, it's good. If it is not having also, no problem. If it is not having also, no problem. That means every contract will have some rules. Out of them, some are can be ignored. Some are optional. If anyone asks why to make any rule as optional, to design goals. We design goals by using optional rules. Optional rules. So see here, according to this, name is mandatory, price is mandatory, stock is mandatory, but rating is optional. Right? Some products may not have a rating because nobody given the ratings or nobody have purchased yet. But later they can have rating. For one product, rating will be there. For another product, rating will not be there. So it is not compulsory for every product, but if it is there, it is good. Customer can know its quality. These are called goals. Now in this, what are the objectives? Name, price, stock. These are objective. Which one is the goal? Rating is the goal. So to design such goals, we need optional rules, right? So how do we design the optional rules syntactically? Interface, I product. We have name, it is a string. We have price, it is a number. And we have stock, it is Boolean. And we have rating and question mark, and it is number. That is how we need to configure. So examples we will see later. First, we are learning concept. We are going to understand concept. How to design an interface, how to write the rules in an interface. So first, we have to mention the field name and its type. If any field you think is optional, is not compulsory, then you can keep it with a question mark. So actually, this is considered as a goal and others are considered as a objective. Others are considered as objective. These all are objectives. Objectives. That is the concept. So in real-time programming, from experienced people, we expect only these words. Experienced people don't talk about interface. They will talk about contract. So interface is used for contracts, and contracts can have optional rules. Another important, actually a contract can have read only rules. A contract can have read only rules. What is a read only rule? Read only rule is nothing but, let's see, a contract can have read only rules also. Read only rule is nothing but, see here now, I am giving this price, name, stock, rating. And rating I will add here as 4.5. Now I want to print these details. Let's print console.log. We will print name coming from product.name. In the next line, price. So product.price. Okay, next, stock. So we have product.stock. Another one, rating. So product.rating. Product.rating. Okay. Now, after defining this, we are printing the details. How much price is initialized? 45,000. After initializing, before I print the price, later, anytime, if I want, I can change the price. I can change it to 70,000. It will take. That means after the details are initialized, those details can be changed. But so you see now here, actually price is initialized to 45,000. After initializing the price, anytime if you want, you can change it. That means you can assign a new price. That means now TSC index.ts. And we have node. Yeah, here we have node index.js. It is taking the new price. After initializing the price, you can change it. But I want in such a way that what is initialized, it should be final. It should not allow to change. Then whenever you declare a rule, you can make this rule as read only. If you make the rule as read only, then it will not allow to assign. It will allow to initialize. Initialize, how much we initialized? 45,000. After that, if you want to change, it is not changeable. Now you can see here, it says error. And what is the error? It says that price cannot assign because it is read on. That means every rule can be assigned with new value. Every property can be assigned with new value. But you want some properties in such a way that once they are initialized with value, they cannot be changed. Then you have to mark them as a read on. Now you cannot do this. You cannot do this. That is the purpose of read on. That means a contract can have read only rules. Actually, why we need read only rules? Read only rule will not allow to assign a value after initialization. After initialization, it will not allow to assign a value. You cannot assign any value after initialization. What you initialize, that is final. Otherwise, you can reinitialize any number of times, right? You can put different types of values. So syntactically here, so interface. and interface name, that is I product. And in this interface, name can be string type, and read only, price, it is number type. You can have all read only also, your wish. More than one can be set to read only. Now, LET product, it is using I product, and here name, we are initializing TV, and the price, we are initializing some price. After that, I am accessing product dot name is equal to Samsung TV. This is valid because it is not read only. And product dot price is equal to some 60,000 some price. This is invalid because it is read only. It is read only. So you cannot apply price. So a contract can have optional rules. A contract can have read only rules. Read only rules. Optional, read only. So contract can contain rules which can be optional and read only. Is it clear up to now? Now, next important, contract can have rules for methods. Contract can have rules for methods, not only for properties. Currently, we can have, right? Contract can have rules for methods. Currently, we are giving rules for properties. We can have rules for methods. For methods also, we can have rules. But very important, method rule comprises of declaration and signature. Method rule comprises of declaration and signature. Method rule cannot have definition. Yesterday I explained what is function declaration, function signature, and function definition. Remembered? So when you are defining rule can have only declaration and signature. You cannot have definition. Let's see. So method rules can be with a contract like this. Let's see here. Price is not assignable now. Okay. Here you see we have name, price, stock, rating. I will just keep it simple, more simple. I'm creating one more time. Interface, I product. In that way, I will keep name, string type, price, number type, and quantity also number type. And total is a method. Total is a method. This total method should return number. That is how we write rules for methods. That means these are the rules for properties, and this is the rule for method. Method name must be in parenthesis. If you don't give a parenthesis, it becomes a property. Method rule is defined with a parenthesis. And very important, it cannot have definition. It cannot have definition. It can have only declaration and signature. Declaration and signature. Okay. I am writing another method, print parenthesis, and colon, it should is void type. You have to mention method name, its return type. If it is not returning anything, then you have to mark it as void type. So these are the rules for methods, and method also can be optional. How method can be optional? Question mark. That means print is optional. It is not mandatory. So you can create rules for properties as well as methods. So actually method name in a contract is defined by using parenthesis like this, by using parenthesis. So we have to write the syntax like this. We have an interface, I product, and in that I have so name, it is what type string. Suppose I am giving total. Total is method, it is number type. I am giving print, it is a method, it is void type. That is how we need to design. So a contract can have rules for properties as well as rule for methods. And remember, method rule can define parameters. Method rule can define parameters also. It is not just only method and its type. The rule is for even parameters. What parameters a method should have, what parameter type they should have, everything we can mention there. Right? That means method rule can define parameters. For example, here you see, this is the example. So I'm having some details. Details is a method, and this details method is having void, and it is having parameter. Parameter, I am defining some name, it is what type string. Another one is price, it is a number. Like this we can have. That means you can define the rules even for parameters. That means details must have only these two parameters, and its return type must be void. So we can define rule with parameters. So it can be like this. Interface, I product, and here we are defining. So that is details is a method, and it can be parameter, name string type, and price number type, and it is finally void. Like this we can have. Method rule can define parameters. We can define rule for parameters. So interface can have all these points. I'm not giving example. Example we will see after learning this point. I'm just giving syntax to make you understand how to write them first. Then we will put in example. Okay. Now we have interface related things so many. I hope you are clear how to write an interface and how to write rules for properties, how to write rules for methods, how to define optional rules, and how to define read-only rules. Read-only rules. Okay. Next important implementation. For example, here I will take a simple LET product. It should implement which one? I product. And here I am defining So the rule, and you can see here, I am configuring name. It is a string type, and we have price, that is number type. After that, quantity, it is number type. Another one, total. Total is a function. Generally, total function, how to implement this total function? Total, we have to write like a function. And this function is showing error. Why? Because it should return number. So we have to use return this dot quantity into this dot price. Now it is okay. Now we need another one. What is it? Print. Print is also a function. Print is a function. And what this function have to do? It should print all the details. That means here I am defining console.log. So the name, this dot name, and price is equal to this dot price. And we have quantity slash n quantity is equal to this dot quantity. And we need total is equal to this dot total. Total is a method, you have to use a parenthesis. Now we have to just access, so product dot print, which is going to print all details. Now you see, so here it is showing some problem. What is the problem? It is showing, acha, it is fine. It is saying that cannot invoke object which is possibly undefined, right? But that is not an issue, because later we will learn about it. Because it is compile time, right? So tsc index.ts. Don't worry about that error, because it is saying that is just a warning on the screen. Node index.js. Now you can see it print all details. So this is basic. Actually, why this error it is showing? It is saying that this is not the right way to use. If values are not provided, it may return undefined. But already values are provided. We know that it will not return any undefined. So we can run that. In compilation, error is coming or not, you have to worry about it. Not in on-screen red marks. Understood? On screen, so many red marks will come because of you installed TS config. Remember, in TS config, without following rules, anything you design, it will show like that. So don't worry. In compile time, it should not show errors. Okay, right. So this is one simple example for understanding. This I will post into classroom. Okay. This is rules for methods, rules for properties, read-only rules and optional rules. Another important, you should know that contracts, actually you can extend contracts. You can extend contracts. Contracts can be extended. You can extend the contracts. Contracts can be extended. What is extension of contracts? For example, see. So I am designing here. What is meant by extending? See, I am designing interface here. HDFC version 1 contract, like this I am writing. HDFC version 1 contract. That means this is the contract for a bank application, some HDFC bank application. In this contract, we have two options. One is personal, that is string, and we have NRI. This is also string. That means in HDFC bank application, actually, just roughly I'm showing, but this is HDFC bank website. In that they have so many modules. You can see in HDFC bank website, they have some modules here: personal, NRI, SME, wholesale, agri. These are all the modules they are having in their bank. Now, actually, when HDFC bank website came, earlier they don't have all these. They have only 1, 2 functionalities. Every few months, some new functionality they introduced into this and built it, right? Actually, what is the point? In the first version, these two are there. Now, what happens is they want to build some new facility. They want to add one more facility. If they want to add one more facility and that rule they need to add, we don't prefer to edit the existing version. We don't prefer to edit existing version. Without editing the existing version, we ask to design a new version. That means interface HDFC version 2 contract. In this version 2 contract, we will add a new facility called some loans, and it is a string type. Now the question here is, why you are not editing the previous version? Why you are designing a new version? Any software, this question is there. That means they developed a software version 1 and they want to add a new facility. If they want to add a new facility, they will not disturb that version. They will build one more version. Now our doubt is why they don't directly make changes in that version. Why to develop another version? Why can't they add that new facility into that existing version? So why they cannot change the existing version? Why they have to build a new version? The concept, if anybody asked you this question, then answer for that is to handle backward compatibility. Backward compatibility. That is the answer. That means if anybody asked you why they don't edit existing version, why they release a new version? To handle backward compatibility. What is meant by backward compatibility? Backward compatibility means the existing version is used by several people. They don't want the new feature you introduced. They want to continue with the old feature. They don't want the new feature. In that case, if you make changes in the existing version, their application will affect. Am I right? For example, what is the Windows latest version? 11. You may be still using Windows 8 or 10. Am I right? If I ask, why don't you update to 11? Then you will say that, why should I update? Why should I update? Then they will say that some new features are there. And he will say that I don't want those features. I don't want those new features because they are not useful for me. And to install new version, some more memory may require. In that case, I will go with my old version because I am comfortable with that. That means even new versions are developed, old versions are not disturbed. Why? Because those old versions are still in use. Some people may be using. So without disturbing old version, we have to build the new version. This is called extensibility. Why we don't modify a version? Why we release a new version? Because we don't want the people who are using old version to be affected. So their work will be going on, and new version anybody wants they can use. So what is the purpose of extensibility? Why you need extensibility? Extensibility is required to achieve backward compatibility. Backward compatibility. So backward compatibility means what? Even a new version is available, old version should work. That mechanism is backward. I will tell you more better example. Suppose you are using Gmail. When you are using Gmail, how to attach any file in Gmail? They will give you an option, drag and drop. Am I right? You can drag and drop and attach. But what happened is you are using Gmail. While using Gmail, suddenly internet connection slow down. Internet connection is very slow. Then immediately Gmail people will identify and they will send a message saying that we see that your connection is low. Do you want to switch to HTML version? They will ask that. If you say yes, switch to HTML version, in HTML version you can watch your emails, you can attach files, but there you cannot use drag drop. You have to click browse button, select a file, upload the file and attach the file. Have you seen that? That means if your connection is slow, they will give you a lightweight version. If your connection is high, they will give you an higher version. That means for low speed, they cannot stop. You see these days, Netflix, Amazon and all, if your connection is slow, they don't stop the video. They change the quality of video. Am I right? They don't stop the video. Earlier, if connection is slow, we used to stop. Buffering will come. Am I right? Now you might have observed YouTube and all. They don't stop the video. They change the quality. So we need to design application even for low compatible devices. That is the reason we don't disturb the existing version. We will use the new, right? Without disturbing existing, how to use the new? So see, we developed a new version, and this new version is having which feature? Loans. But these loans must be along with personal and NRI. That means previous version also should continue. To that, new feature should be added. Will you write these two again inside the new version? No. Without writing, we can simply extends HDFC version 1. Understood? That means the contract extends the previous. So second version will have access to all in first version. In addition to that, this also will work. Right? Now what happens is I'm using so low compatible user. I'm having a low compatible user. What this low compatible user will do? He will install HDFC contract 1, version 1 contract. Understood? According to version 1 contract, what facilities he can get? He can get only personal. This is what personal banking, right? And another one is NR. This is NRI banking. And you see loans are not available. And if you try to implement loans here, it says that this is not for your version. It is not for your version. Now see, Another person is installing. This is high compatible user. High compatible user is installing which version? Version 2. Version 2. Now he will have personal, am I right? This is personal banking, and he will have NRI. So NRI, it's not semicolon, comma, right? Yeah. It will have NRI. This is NRI banking. And in addition to that, new facility also is there, loans. That means some personal and house loans. So housing loans like this we have. This is extensibility. That means without disturbing an existing version, we have to build the new version. And this new version should able to use the features of old. Then how we can do that? By using the concept of extends. That means the contract 2 extends contract 1. That means now both users are working, right? So user 1, he will get those 2 features, and user 2 will get all the 3 features, right? This is the concept of extensibility. We call this as extensibility, right? So what is extending? You can extend contracts. You can extend contracts. Why we need to extend contracts? You have to extend contracts in order to achieve what? To achieve, in order to achieve one concept I told you, backward compatibility. In order to achieve backward compatibility. What is backward compatibility? Backward compatibility is nothing but making the user available to use the older versions, even the new version is there, right? So backward compatibility allows users, allow users to use older version. So older version and its features, even when a new version is available. That is what backward compatibility is. So backward compatibility allow users to use old version and its features even when a new version is available. That is backward compatibility. And how you can achieve that backward compatibility? By using extensibility, right? A contract can extend. So here extensibility syntax will be like this: interface version 1, this have a so string type, and it is having b, this is string type, and we have interface, this is version 2. Version 2 extends version 1, and it is having the feature of C. That is how we do. So a contract can extend another contract. So this is extending the contracts. And actually later we can implement in visual design. I will show you later visual screen design. We will design the screen in such a way that user will select which version he wants, and he clicks install button. Then what we will do? We will install and we will show which one he selected, right? That we will implement. We will see that. But for that, we need to learn how to design the contracts first. Designing the contracts. So this is example for this. I will copy this example. This you will get in the code, okay, classroom. This is extensibility. So contracts, optional rules in contracts, read-only rules in contracts, and rules for properties, rules for methods, and how to extend the contracts. And very important, you should know that contract supports contract supports multiple and multi-level extensions, generally this you call in your general terms as inheritance. Understood? In inheritance is the concept used for extensibility. It is reusability as well as extensibility. So inheritance is the mechanism of reusing the code and extending the code. We are doing two things. We are extending and we are reusing. Whatever is there in version 1, we are using it and we are extending the code, right? So it is both reusability as well as extensibility. So if anybody asks what is inheritance, inheritance is reusability and extensibility. So why we need inheritance? So to reuse the code, extend the code. Why you need extensibility? For achieving backward compatibility. So in many interviews for experienced people, they ask the question like this: what is backward compatibility? That is answer already you know. Another question is, what is side by side execution? What is side by side execution? These two are technical things. These are related to your concept which you have learned. Side by side execution, backward compatibility. Backward compatibility means, backward compatibility is nothing but even a high version is available, low version features are available to you. You can use them. What is side by side execution is, side by side execution, this is nothing but, I will tell you one example. Suppose in my PC, so we are having a PC. In this PC, we are installing some software like MS Office. MS Office, I installed 2010 version. I installed MS Office 2010 version in my computer. Okay. After installing MS Office 2010 version, here later I installed MS Office 2013, some new version. Now tell me what will happen to old version? Will it replace, or can I keep the old version and run the new version also? Are you sure? Can you run both versions? Can you run both versions on a computer? Yes, it is possible. It is possible. It is possible. Multiple versions of same software can run on your machine. Some softwares will not allow, but some softwares will allow multiple version. An old version will be there as well as new version also will be there. The availability of two versions of same software in a computer, this is called side by side execution. Side by side execution is possible. Side by side execution is not supported for every application. For example, you know, you can have two WhatsApp in your mobile, and then, right? And very important is, one can be a lower version and another can be an higher version. Of course, you can see, suppose Uh, Example is, for example, you reset your mobile. When you reset your mobile, all your apps will be old version. Do you know that, right? Right. That means old version and new version can run side by side. Some softwares, when you install, they will ask, do you want to keep the existing? Generally, you people, what do you do is you replace it. But without replacing, we can have multiple versions. Multiple versions. Same software, multiple versions can be there. Right? This is possible. Actually, you can see in your computer, in C drive, you can go, in that program files will be there. When you go to the program files, you can see in program files, some softwares will be there. Whatever softwares you install, some softwares will be there. When you open any software, those softwares, currently only one version is there. They can keep another version also. That means two versions are available. You can use which one you want. This concept is called as side-by-side execution. Side-by-side execution. So what is side-by-side execution? Side-by-side execution, it is the ability of running multiple versions of same application on a device. It is the ability of running multiple versions of same application on a device. What I told you already, Google people, I told you, Google people say that if you are using low connection speed, we have a HTML version for you. You are using high speed, then interactive version is there. Multiple versions can run, right? So actually that was not possible earlier, but after Windows XP, they started this kind of experience inside operating system. Every operating system will not allow. Some operating system, when you install new version, old version will be gone. But some operating system allow. That is called side-by-side execution, right? Multiple versions can run on that. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of multiple and multi-level extension? Multiple and multi-level extension is nothing but here, currently we are having version 1, version 2. What you can have, you can create interface, HDFC, you can create version 3, understood? This version 3 can extend. Which version? Version 2. And it can have some new features. Some have new features. Suppose I say government schemes, right? It is a string type like this. Now you can create an object for this one, which can use all the features of version 1 as well as 2. This kind of inheritance is called as multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. This is multi-level, right? I will just copy this actually. This is multi-level. And what is multiple? Multiple is nothing but, suppose this government schemes related contract is separate. That means, for example, I will give you one simple one here. What is multiple? Suppose we have an interface I product, and product have a name string, and product have a price. Price is having some number. Okay. Now we have another contract that is a category. Category will have a category name, and it is having a string. Now what I am doing is I am creating an interface. Interface name is, suppose, product contract. This product contract should use both contracts. But those two contracts are not related to each other. Both are separate. then what you can do is product contract can extends. It can extend I product, comma, I category. Understood? This is called multiple. Multiple. It can extend multiple. Now here so many questions are there. But what are those questions? If you are using same name property, understood? In both of them, if you are using same name property, which one will work? For example, I am writing here. So some title. Some title is a string. Title is a string. Okay. And I am implementing this let obj. It is what type? Product contract type. In this name comes from which location? Is it belonging to I product or is it belonging to I category? Both are having same. Then it belongs to which one? This name, it will work. It will work. This name, you see, it belongs to product. That means it belongs to first. If same name properties are there, the first one will continue. Because latest one is having same, then the old one will continue. If there is any change, then both will apply. If both are same, that means in old version, you have given one property. In new version also same you design. Then it will take old one only. It will not take the new. It will take only the new features from new. All the old feature will continue from old. So if it is having different, that means category name, then both will work, right? This name is some TV and price is some price, and it have one more. What is it? Category name. Category name is what? So some electronics, and we have like title. Title is some Samsung, like this. You can implement multiple contracts also. You can implement multiple contracts. This is called as what? Multiple inheritance. This is example for multiple. A contract supports all these features. Understood? Is it clear? Right. So we will implement this in our Angular. You learned the concept. Examples you will see while working with Angular. Here only concept we have to discuss. Then implementation of this concept you will do in Angular. Right? You have to know what is a contract. Contract is an interface. What interface defines? Rules for designing contract. We can have optional rules. We can have read-only rules. Rules can be for properties. Rules can be for methods. And rules can be extended. You can have single, multiple, and multi-level. Right? Why to extend? To achieve backward compatibility. These are all the points. Now, once you know about contracts, now we will see next classes. What is a class? How to design the classes? How these contracts are implemented by classes? That we'll see. That we'll see in tomorrow's session. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue then, right? Yeah.